right, they didn't.
Right. I mean that's true. No, they really. I think that's why Asuka is that way with Shinji, because on some level, even though she's only 14, I think she realizes how very alike they are, but she doesn't want to admit that to herself.
Yeah, just because of who she is.
Right. She, has dealt with this ever since she was 5 years old, not having anyone to love her, to care for her, to support her. So she's had to build up this wall around herself to protect herself, and she doesn't really want to let anybody in there. And obviously she can relate to Shinji because he's pretty much in the same situation. I mean, his mother died when he was very young. His father is a bastard, so.
Yeah. And another thing, back to what you said, Maru's barely in it. But I think that,
But he's a very important character.
Yeah,
I'm joking around. He's
Yeah.
in the show for maybe 8 or 10 or 12, whatever. Carl knows how many minutes it is exactly.
I think it's like 5 minutes unless you count all the time he's sitting there like that. In which case it's like 15.
See, I just think back to the bath scene or whatever, which it's just it's like you see all these characters and there's an underlying. I think you see a little bit of what I would guess consider in my perspective of some actual humanity from, or when everybody else is just kind of using these children, and he expresses something. It's just and then you find out he's Angel or whatever, and you're just but he was so human. And
That's true. He wasn't human, but in some ways he was much more human than any of them.
And it's just the thing that got me is just when he, unconditional love just based on just that somebody else is a human being and there's worth. And that always kind of just really spoke to me because it's just here's these people using these children, and then you have the person who they're one of the things that they're fighting on the show is actual humanity.
Yeah, that episode really did get to me. I'm sure everybody else that watched it. I mean, the whole Kaoru arc is that's very challenging, and he's having to kind of confront all of his personal issues, his inner demons.
What do you guys think of the fandom?
I can't even. Oh, I haven't ever heard a fan dub of Ava. I haven't ever listened to one.
Are you talking about Redact?
Redact, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm familiar with Redeath, but I haven't actually seen it.
Oh, okay.
I've heard of it, but I haven't actually seen it.
Yeah, honestly, we've been so intimately involved with Ava for so long that watching another version of Ava is really not exactly my idea of a pleasurable evening. I literally lived with Ava for 12 years because I did
13.
13?
Yeah. Right so.
13 years. Okay, good God. But I did the original English version, and then in the interim between that, when we did the director's cut, I worked on the Spanish and the French versions as well. And then after we did the director's cut, I was working on the German version, and then we did Platinum.
And in between all of that, you've been doing consulting stuff with
Right.
the live action thing.
So it's kind of I'm kind of the go-to guy on Ava in this hemisphere, and watching the original footage with other dialogue that doesn't have anything to do with it is not exactly the kind of thing that I'm interested in. I've done it.
Yeah. Yeah, been there, done that. Anybody have any questions or comments about it? Yes.
Do you have any idea what the schedule's going to be like for the releases of the remake movies in Japan?
Well, so far there's only been 2 of them made. I mean, the original announcement and the plan, as far as what I've read in
By the original announcement, there should have been 4 by now.
Yeah, that they were going to make 4 movies and they would have all been out by now. Well, all they've done so far is 2. I mean, I'm assuming they're still going to make the other 2 after that, but I don't have any idea when. The second one just came out at the end of June, so they probably even haven't started on the third one. And that's just pure speculation. I really have no idea. I think Mr. Ano wants plenty of time to roll around in his piles of money before he starts on the third movie. So I don't know. The Rebuild 1.0, You Are Not Alone, is being released on DVD sometime this month, and then the Blu-ray is being released early next year. So that's what I can tell you about 1.0.
Sure are.
Yeah, I didn't know that until today. I heard about that today.
Told you that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are. And that's because now you have to buy all three.
No, they're not on market.
I don't even know what the differences are, other than one's on DVD and one's on Blu-ray. I don't.
They keep adding and changing stuff. You know, I mean, you gotta watch them. Them side by side.
seconds of footage.
That's a Carl Hornism right there. That's a Carl Hornism right there. Except for his is more like with as many as 13 frames of additional footage. Oh my god. Which is about half a second, in case you wanted to know.
One theme I found in